guys, this is Sharon. So today I was going to run you through my project memory planning, which I gave myself a goal to be done by December 2023. By December 31st, 2023. It's coming along. I had filmed a video running through my techos a while back, like in February, and then I didn't edit. And then I didn't actually work on project memory plan until like 2 weeks ago. It's been a real labor of love so far. So this is how it looked in my weeks where I set up, because we're trying to back plan 2021 and 2022. And by back plan, I mean more just, I think of my journal as like scrapbooky journaling. But I would say I didn't really find how I like to journal in hobonichis. Like I journaled like this for a while. I would say I really found my groove with how I like journaling on this October. I'm Army. But with this, where it's like I like the scrapbooky-esqueness, whereas I used to journal more about like processing thoughts, and I realized I actually prefer when the things I want to look back on are journal spreads like that, not process. Like I don't go back and reread my old bullet journals because they all have journaling stuff in them where I'm just like, I don't need to remember that. So I'm currently in my 4th year of A6 hobonichi. This year's is a hone at the very bottom of this pile. The first year I ever bought a hobonichi was 2020, so that one was archived. That one I considered completed in like I think last year or 2021. I was like, okay, this is done, archiving it. And it was like the 2022 one, it was the Japanese A6. I tried the English A6 in 2021, and when I got this, I had tried it for a planner and like this, and I used it like that. I went pretty strong. I think I did, we can find the beginning and the end, essentially. Bear in mind, I used it like this from May 17th to about July 1st. I had this since January, so I think we can say that was not successful. And that was not why I originally bought the hobonichi A6. It was to have something to look back on. So this year was a fail. So then, because my 2021 was, we consider success, not as successful as this one, I went back to it in 2022 because I was like, okay, clearly the English design is not working for me. I think the English design of now, because they have the one that basically looks like the Japanese style, with like the different colors in every month, the 3mm grid, the these check boxes up here, and then the quotes down here. The only difference would be those quotes would be in English and not written in kanji. But to me personally, I think I prefer it being written in kanji. I don't know. The English ones, I have the English edition for my weeks. And I don't find these obtrusive. I honestly don't read them all that often. But I feel like I might find it a bit more intrusive if it was in my journal, just because I do write on top of this sometimes. Like here. And yeah, so we're currently in the midst of our memory keeping. So this is the intro to it. I've been working hard I would say my favorite spread that I just did recently was one sec. Was this one. I really liked how I drew and painted that soju bottle. That was really pretty. Pretty proud. Oh, I just realized. That dice did not have a die on it. So I would say this style where it's sketched in. I like that I have like rough headings. I don't write them super neat sometimes. Sometimes I do, but I feel like it's more, it gives the loose aesthetic that I'm going for, where it's just more a snapshot. It's not meant to be super perfect looking. And I really liked this. And I echo that, I'd say, now. I mean, like, I painted that. And I tried to mimic as accurate as I could. One sec. Like this, where I just am drawing, like, painting really loose and then sketching over it loosely. This is for, I finally finished the Queen's Gambit. I only had one episode left. I started it in 2020 and I watched episode 1 through 6. And then I hadn't gone back and watched the final one, so I finally finished it just the other day. And it's back here in February just because that's when I had open space. But I would say like things like that. Like this is becoming more my style, which is just a lot of watercolor, which has kind of always been my style, but I'm utilizing it more in ways where I used to try and always find ephemera, or if there wasn't ephemera, I would just journal. I'm like, why don't we sketch something? Even if it's really loose. I sketched, this is very loose, and I'm not saying I love it, but it's more to fill up space and kind of get the point across. Like that. I just, clearly I went for a walk, you know? It didn't even take, I was originally going to watercolor something, then I went, I don't really care that much, I just want to draw, so I think I drew it in like 2 minutes, I don't know. Just with fountain pen. Yeah. So I've started a memory planning filming for this because I like to do my months like this. And I've filmed February and March, so that should go up at some point. As should the soju one, I believe I filmed that. So yeah, I guess we'll do a flip now. I'm gonna be honest with you, there's really nothing to flip in this one, except for this Cruella spread, which I just did the other day. So I don't really think there's anything else interesting in here at this point, because I really didn't use this book. Yeah. So 2021 flip to come when I'm further along. We're gonna go for a halfway flip because I think we're about halfway through. So I wrote this out at the beginning of the year, which is just, I had planned out in like just processing all the different dates that I need to go back and memory spread for. Then I transferred them into here in my project section of my weeks. But then recently I've been watching, I really liked when people do like movie reviews. And one of my goals for this year was to watch 25 new movies because notoriously I find watching films very difficult. I just don't do it. But we're like 16 films into my goal this year, so I think we're gonna make it. But I saw that people were like printing like a photo of a film or like a book and then writing a review. And I really like that because I like writing my thoughts down about things. So I started doing that, which is helping fill in pages. So because I started doing that, I was like, oh, I should do that in this one. I didn't know what I was going to do for like Spider-Man No Way Home or Dune, or I saw Shang-Chi that year. So it's like I decided that I'm going to bring how I'm journaling currently back into 2021, even if it's not accurate to how I was journaling then. Because how I was journaling then was more like, here's what I have to do today. And then I would journal, well, not there. And then I would journal in the margins. That's how I journaled for a lot of my bullet journaling time, was I would plan out my days or my weeks, and then at the end of the day, I would journal in the margins, which also makes it really hard to go back and read. So, yeah. So let's do a quick flip. Oh, yes. So what I was saying is I had planned out all the days that I thought I had to do, only to realize that I had way more days that I had to do because I've added in that interest section where I'm now doing like movies and also like music and stuff. I have other days I can back plan then into that because I also did things. So I made a master list for each of them. And all of these days have been tabbed out. So this is 2021's, 2022's, and then 2023. And 2023 technically isn't like part of project memory keeping because I think it only gets moved into project memory keeping when it's past the year, but we're still in the year. And I'm actually doing really good at putting everything in. So this is 2022's. I'm gonna put archive. I'll go back in and index things once I've caught up. It's like the last step of project memory keeping that I put on that master to do. So those are just empty. So the first page we have inks of the year. January. Empty one, so that's on project memory keeping. And I don't have any more after August. No more months have been completed yet, which is fine. I'm not going to be filling in 2023's. To me, my journal begins January 1st and it ends December 31st. I can go back and use the paper in here if I want to make like a scratch note or something, but I'm not keeping memories from that year. I'm not keeping memories from other years in 2022's journal. I have no problem leaving pages empty. Obviously, I still have 2021's and it's pretty empty. See, I could have done this in 2021's because that's when my Vanderspec, my purple one, arrived, but I didn't. So I guess what I said to you is a lie. Is that I do keep memories in other journals. Ooh, I had caught I was following what someone had done in like a bullet journal spread or an art journal or something last year, and I thought this was really pretty. And I remember watching, someone said the Micron Sakura does not bleed through Tomoe River. It totally does. That is not ghosting. But I might have I don't know if I still have it actually. It might have been the wrong one. It was the gray body, not the gold body. So maybe the gold body doesn't bleed through. Either way, I thought it was pretty, if too much effort to get there. So this was when I bought my first Hobonichi Weeks in 2022, because I decided that that would be super useful to help with my back planning, if I at least like kept track of things. I loved the Batman. I thought it was so good. Oh, this is like old lists from, I want to say it was from, what does this say? Musicals to check out. I've seen Hadestown. Oh, I've listened to all of these now. This is hella old, but I recently saw Hadestown. It was as phenomenal as I expected back when I was 20. But yeah, what I was gonna say is these were old like wish lists and things from when I had a happy planner, like 2018, and I think it's fun to archive stuff like that, because it's like I wasn't gonna keep it anywhere, so I might as well put it somewhere. And this is what I'll keep, because I like keeping bound books, but I have a really hard time keeping loose paper. Anything that's like this is like poems that I've, not good poems, I call them poetic whims, because I haven't gone through and edited them yet or anything, and I might never, so they might stay poetic whims. But I thought, I always write them in my notes, like on my phone, and at some point last year I was like, why don't I put that into my journal, because it usually they kind of describe my mood at the time too. It's how I process things. I've done it since I was probably like 10. And I thought it'd be cool to put it in, because I don't want to journal emotions like that, but I was like, the poems are kind of a creative, they're artistic license that I'm taking, so yeah. Oh, this is how I used to do reviews of things I watched. I like how it's become more like a statement piece, like on the whole page now, instead of just a little bit of jotting. I dream about different planner covers sometimes, and I figure there's no place better to put it than in my journal. This is a halfway completed spread. Yeah. If we see the Batman, you saw how it was all in grayscale when I did it. It's because I didn't have a color printer last year. And then, I don't know, like November, December, I realized you can buy collage prints from Costco. Well, you can't now. Costco, no, at least not in Canada. I don't know if they do it in the States, but so I was like, oh, I could put collage prints, and I think you could put up to like 32 pictures on there. I think I probably put around 18. I did 3 sheets, and I think I did about 18 on each, and it came to like maybe $3 per collage print. So with shipping, I think it was maybe like under 20 bucks for me to get all of these photos printed, and I just chose at the time glossy with black. I think I'm gonna do glossy with white for this year's. So I have to order my first set of prints because I was like, that's also partially what all of these are tabbed with, is I need photos. And I really liked how they print from Costco. It's better than when I used to print them on a computer because it's not as much hassle on me. But yeah, so I suggest that if you don't have a photo printer, highly recommend. The next spread is kind of sad. We had to put down my cat Coco last year, so yeah. So I'm gonna skip the page after that. This is when I started thinking of what I was gonna do for 2023. I had thought about getting an A5. I think I thought about doing an A5 binder. Oh no, I see what I was saying. I was talking about migration to an A5 binder, which I stopped using because I don't know why. Binders don't work for me. This is my supposed techo kaiji. The 1, 2, 3, and 5, those are correct. I do use those. As you can see, this was a 2023 edition. This is when we bought tickets for Hamilton, which I saw May 6th. I was supposed to see it May 10th, 2020. I had been waiting to see it since 2015 when it went on Broadway, because I am a big musical person. But we all know what happened in 2020. It was really good. I would have been way more hyped to see it had we saw it back in 2020 when we originally were supposed to see it. But it was still really, really phenomenally well done. This is when my hobonichi order came from Wonder Pens. Oh, I'm phenomenally proud about this spread. I'm a Fall Out Boy fan, and this is when they had put an ad out in the Chicago Tribune, and everyone was like, oh my god, Fall Out Boy 8 is coming, which it's phenomenal. I didn't get to see them when they were here in Toronto, unfortunately, but I watched all the videos. So good. Not too pleased with this. I was trying like, oh, maybe I could be a Crayola marker kind of drawer. Just didn't work for me. Indigo. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Closer. Lonely Wildflower. Number 2. Yeah. This is like, I was taking notes just in my jotter on the Game Awards, and then I was like, why don't I just put that in my journal? I don't know, those kind of things didn't occur to me, but now I'm thinking it, you know? I realized I said that, but I transferred this in last year. I did it like in my journal, like not my like jotter notebook, and then within like 4 hours after, I was like, oh, why don't I put that there? Highlight: Mr. Hideo Kojima is as always hilarious and mysterious, asking fans to watch again for Easter eggs. He was talking about the Death Stranding 2 announcement. So that's just very Hideo Kojima. This, sorry, I lied. This is my favorite spread. This is like so extra. Okay, my first ever high-end lipstick that I bought was Dior Addict in Incognito. I bought it like in 2014. It was, anyways. They discontinued the color in 2017, and it was my lips but better color, and I was so sad. So I just kept having it, but then last year I suddenly was like, I started project panning things. I was like, I need to get rid of this. I have too much stuff. So after I finally finished it on December 11th, I drew it out. These are things I hardly ever use, but it's the Travelers Company scratch stickers. And then I had a little, this is like a Travelers Company pocket. Just threw it in. I had a full-on photo shoot for it. This is the one that turned out the best. I took 3. The flash wasn't cooperative, but I just find that kind of funny, so I kept it. And then I literally took a lipstick swatch, and I read that because I was like, people used to send these in letters, right? So I read that if you spray it with hairspray, it should keep. And honestly, like, yeah, like it's pretty, I see that there's a bit of transfer onto the pocket when I was looking at it the other day, but in general, it stayed. So that's what Incognito looked like. This is the kind of extra that I sometimes will do in my planners, because why not? This is when I bought my home. I was so happy. I bought a Passport Traveler's Notebook last year, and I thought I was going to take it with me, but yeah, that did not work out. I'm just going to skip the next page, because sensitive information. This is what I got for Christmas last year. What I watched on Christmas break. What was the best thing I watched? Turning Red. I loved it so much. Like, so much. It was, I have to rewatch it again. It was so funny. Just a bunch of Christmas photos. There's my other cat, Ellie. New Year's Eve, and then my notes section. And in my notes, I like migrated a bunch of things. Information that I thought would be cool. Like, I migrated this out of my weeks into here. Then I'm like, I like keeping track of data, so this is like everything I finished. As you can see, the last thing I finished was my Duoratic lipstick, but I finished a bunch of things for Project Pram last year. Yeah, my habit trackers, and then some personal notes. And then I used my favorites as like my favorite things that I did. Days, watched, ate, whatever. Really loved Business Proposal, if you haven't seen it. I made dairy-free Nanaimo bars. So good. I don't think I used any other pages in here. No. Yeah. So that was 2022's. We're nearly there. We have like 10 more pages maybe to do, and then I think we're gonna call this boy good. So then 2023's is coming along nicely. The struggle. Same here. I haven't indexed anything yet. I'm gonna do that. Once these tabs are out of the way, it won't annoy me as much to go through and like find things and then put them in the correct location. So I've only done March, January, and February so far for my months. We're doing really good on this one so far. I think I'm more than halfway done. Everything else, we're at least being more active this year than previous years, so that's good. But well, you know, we're working towards the goals. Let's say that. Oh yeah, these are just, I was cleaning up my room, and these are just like fun bits of paper that I found, but I was like, oh, I should like put those somewhere. This is a teacup. Oh, this one, I'm pretty sure this is a doodle from grade 12 from Hamlet. I can't imagine me drawing a pig dead otherwise. Sorry guys, that's a teacup. Zootopia, I did watch, I thought I had watched this back in 2016. I realized I didn't watch the last like 30 minutes of it, so I did count it towards my thing. Rewatched Yet to Come with my sister. Love from the Other Side came out by Fall Out Boy. I showed you that one already, but that was Queen's Gambit. I watched Persuasion with my friend. Hated it. No stars. Horrendous. I'm extra. This says flip to see a disaster. And then I did write, look what they did to my baby. Jane, I am so sorry. It was horrendous. I am asking my one friend to watch it to give me an unbiased opinion because she's not a Persuasion fan. Well, when I say that, she's never read Persuasion, so she shouldn't have a biased take either way. But I told her I probably just won't believe her opinion if she says it's good. So that's how it be sometimes. So we can see we have a lot of work to do in January. Okay, sorry, March. Here's my issue, right? So if you're Army, Face by Jimin came out on March 24th. I have to do that spread still. So Much for Stardust also came out on March 24th. I moved it to the 16th, no problem. I need to figure out how I want to do them, is my problem. I have a bunch of ephemera printed for this one. I need an inspiration day to do it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. This is when I started doing my reviews like this. Green just meant documentary. Blue I think I have as drama action, maybe? Or maybe it's just film. I'm gonna paint the playbill here, but Phantom closed on April 16th this year on Broadway. That was always a dream, was to go see it on Broadway, and it won't happen now, so I was quite shocked. I mean, not shocked in the sense that it cost a lot of money to do, but shocked all nonetheless, I would say. Sorry, I just need some more tea. Writers went on strike. West Side Story? It was fine. I give it 3 out of 5. It was more like it was good. I love Ariana DeBois, and I'm happy she won the Oscar for it. The problem for me is West Side Story itself. It's just so long. And I think the acting was great, the directing was great. It was just, I just don't care for West Side Story. Eurovision, man, do I have thoughts. And I will write them down at some point, but I have typed all that I had it on my phone. I was typing notes out and like live updating my friends on it. And I'm like, oh, I should put those in my journal, so I just haven't done it yet. I finally finished Dairy Girls the other day. I had to rewatch from the beginning again. I think I've watched from the beginning season 1 and 2 4 or 5 times, so I've now seen it a 6th time basically, plus season 3. I love this show so much. Cannot recommend it enough. So good. The reason I'm going to hit my movie goal is because my one friend decided we should watch all the Fast and the Furious movies together. It all started with me sending that meme of Michelle Rodriguez saying they had made enough like Marvel films, and she was like, we should watch Fast and Furious. We finished Fast 4 in July. It's a movie series. I can say that. June's pretty empty, which is kind of nice because I have paper that I can use. I wanted to transcribe some notes from my jotter in here. Shiny Happy People, really good. Fundy Fridays was in it, but the overall documentary with the survivors, really good and phenomenal. Highly recommend. SAG went on strike. haven't done Barbie yet. I didn't see it this day. I saw it on the 31st, but I had unfortunately put a movie review there wrong. Oh, I decided that Push, the Ryan Gosling edition, had such a big impact on my summer that it has to have a spread. And that's when I decided that I was going to start doing like CDs in here, which would be inspired by Megan Rhiannon had like CDs, and I really liked how hers looked. So I made some on Canva, and I just haven't sat down and pasted, because I kind of want to do a doodle, I think, of almost where like headphones are coming out of it, but I'm not sure how that should look. So I just haven't yet. But it's coming. It's coming one of these days. That's when I saw Hadestown. Really good. I painted this for my friend. It's Kim Tan. She's biased towards V. It looks better in digital because the blacks really took over in the hair. But it was my first time painting a digital portrait, so I finally watched. It's my first time painting a digital portrait, and I was really proud of myself. I finally watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I kind of have this thing where if things are too hyped, I seem to like take forever to watch them after the hype dies down. It's like I'm worried I'm not going to enjoy it as much as other people have. And I kind of, my timeline on that seems to be about 6 years. It took me about 6 years to watch Big Hero 6 of my sister saying I should watch it. And I think Spider-Verse came out in 2018, so that would be like 5 years. So we've shortened that time period then. I watched the Mario movie, really good. Fire Island, so good. It is officially the best adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. It's beaten out Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Anyone who's an Austen fan and just heard that is like horrified. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies has some of the best characterizations of the characters. Mr. Collins, I think, is the best Mr. Collins in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. But Fire Island, the like Lizzie character, whose name is Noah, has like the most pretentious air that like it's exactly how Lizzie would be in modern times. It was so good. Bowen Yang's in it, from SNL. Highly recommend. 5 stars. I loved it. This was the funniest review. I have to like do a spread about it. I think it was for Fourth Wing. I don't know. I forget who it's by. I haven't read it yet. But the person was like, if I had $1 million for every cliche in this book, of which there are a multitude, I'd still regret spending $20 on all 498 pages of this mess. I'm still gonna read the book, but this made such an impact on me that it killed me. I was like, to be so cutting. And we're at today.